So we will again see what is a class and what is an object. So class is nothing but we already know that how to create a class. And once we create a class, what will happen? You can able to create an object for the class. Then what is an object? Object is a actual copy, actual implementation. Class is a blueprint. It's a kind of a design, right? Class is a kind of a design. So whatever the fields you wanted to declare and whatever the, let's say a normal example, if you wanted to build a building, so it's just a kind of a plan is required before that, before building, right? If you have the plan, you can build n number of buildings based on that plan, isn't it? You can build. So plan is called here as a class. Class is like a plan. So all the things you will declare inside of a class, methods, everything, variables, everything, blocks, every field you declare in the class according to your requirement, and you will create an object. You will create an object wherever it is required. N number of objects that do. There is no restriction on creation of an object for a particular class. You can create a number of objects, right? Let me show you an example. Let's say if you wanted to, let's say, as I said, building plan and buildings, right? So that's one kind of example. I'll give you a normal example. Like if you wanted to, let's assume this is a class. We wanted to create an account in a Amazon or else Facebook. Okay. So this is FB create FB class, create user class. Let's say create user class. Then inside of it, what will contain? Name will contain. I'll create a name as a field, and it will contain a phone number and email ID. So these, let's say, assume these three are properties which will contain inside of a Facebook create user class. Okay. So this is my design. So whatever the fields you wanted to say while registering, those fields you will create it here. You are the creator while creating the class. Now, once the creation is done, that means design is done. So these are all the fields I would like to design. I would like to create. Now you can able to create n number of objects. Each object means what? It will create a copy. Let's say I create one object. So this is user1, u1. Okay, name it as a u1. Now, what is a copy means? So it will contains all these three properties: name, phone number, email ID. You will give your own name. So whatever the name you will give in the UI, like while sign up, right? You will give some name, right? Let's say some name, some phone number, some email ID. It will create an object internally for that create user class, and whatever the fields you will enter, those fields, those values will be assigned inside of a name, phone number, and email ID for U1 object only. And let's try to create another object. It can be created by multiple users, right? So another user wants to create an account in the Facebook. So whenever he click on a sign up, it will also create an object, and whatever the values it is entered, that user entered, those values will be coming and saved here in the object. Okay, so you created a single class. In a single class, name field, phone field, and email field, you created a single time only. But whenever you're creating an object, whenever the multiple persons are signing up, that time the same fields will be containing different values. This user contains different values, and this user contains different values. How can it is achieving? By using objects. You can call the object as a instance, right? Copy. You can say copy. All the values, all the fields, properties will become as a copy for each and every object. Now it is a class. It's like a blueprint, isn't it? It's a kind of a plan. It's a kind of a design. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir. Understood.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go to the one example so you'll get to know, right? So let's say if I, so it's a part 2, right? One second. Oops, concept. Let me create a package. Oops, dot. Create a class instead of it. I would like to create a one class. First, I would like to create a one class. For that, I will create a multiple objects. Okay, let me create a FB create user only, or else sign up. Sign up is a class name. FB sign up. Okay. So same examples, same fields I would like to create here. Create public. Just keep a public. I will tell you why we need a public properties. Let's say usually we will create a private, but fine. We will create a public. What is a property name? Name, right? So what is a name? Data type. If you wanted to store the name,
String.
yes. So you will use a string name. And second one, phone number. What you can use? If you wanted to store the phone number, which data type you will choose?
Integer.
Yes. And if you want to store the email, what is the data type? Email can contain
String.
is 1, 2, 3 @ any character it can contain. String. Now we are discussing. Just think about the discussion. Now, just now we discussed, right? What is a field and what is the type of it? This is we just discussed. Discuss in the sense we are designing. Whatever is the properties we need. Let's say you are going to create your own website and for your own customers, you are going to create a sign up page. Just assume like that. Even before Facebook, they will think like this only. So what are all the fields we need to register, we need to capture at the time of sign up? So those fields you will create inside of a sign up class. Okay. Now, these three is enough. These three is enough. Now let's go to, I think these three is enough. Let's go to one more class, or else you can create in the same class itself. But I would like to keep on creating two classes for every example. Let's say this is a driver class. Main method will be there in this class. I don't want to confuse by creating an object in the same class itself. I don't want to create that. Create FB users example. Okay. Now inside of it, create a main method. Now this is a main method, and we have FB sign up class. This is a class, like this is a blueprint design, you can say, and you will create a number of objects here. Let's say there is no UI, right? There is no, UI in the sense browser. It is not integrated with the browser. It's just a kind of a core Java examples, right? So I will directly create an object, okay, with some values. One second. So I'll create an object. So what is the syntax of an object even before that? What is the syntax?
Class name.
Class name.
Yes. Class name.
Identifier.
Identifier.
Right.
Is equals to new.
New.
Class name. Constructor.
Right. Exactly. So this is a syntax for an object creation. So we already know this, where we already know while creating an array. If you remember, array is already created by using same syntax. Almost same. Here data type will come and identifier new, again data type, but there will be a
No constructor.
It's a array symbol will come. Here also array symbol will come, right? To just just a small changes for that array. So let's create a class name. What is a class name we are going to create an object for? FB sign up, right? FB sign up. So identifier. So I'd like to create U1 equals to new, again FB sign up. It is automatically taking this symbol. I'll tell you what is the symbol means later. Now one object is created and you can able to set the values also. How can you set the values? Let's say U1 dot, you can set the values. Name equals to, you are setting inside of a U1, where here you are setting. Particularly here, you can create n number of objects, but here you are setting the values by referring U1, right? So U1 dot name equals, it's a string, right? So I'll give you Mahesh. U1 dot phone number equals to, this is a phone number I would like to give, and U1 dot email equals to, okay. So this is what the values I have given. And as I said, it's a copy. So it's a copy. You can create n number of objects. Before that, so I'd like to print the values. How can you read the values from the UI? Same thing, U1, sorry, same thing. If you put U1.name in the left side, what it will do? The value will be assigned from right side to the left side. But if you put the same thing, U1.name in the right side, it will read from that. So let me keep right side. U1 dot name in the right side, left side, just what is a return type? Return type in the sense, what's the type you are going to save? Name equals to, you can say name only. So you are reading whatever is a value you are having inside of a U1 name, the value, same value will be reading, and we are storing it here. Okay, the same way we will read all the values. It's an integer. Name 1, phone 1, U1 dot email, email 1. We just created an object and we just set the values and read the values, and we have the values in our hand, right? In the variables. Now just try to print it. User1 name, name 1. This is what the value, right, for user1. Let's print the same way all the values. User1 phone 1. User1 email 1. Okay, so these are the values we just read from the object U1, and we are going to print it, right? As simple as that. So let's try to see the output. See, user1 name Mahesh, user1 phone number 57656767, user1 email mahesh@gmail.com. This is how you will set the values and you will read the values from the object. Now try to create one more object. Give the breaker FB sign up U2, user2. He is going to create new object. I mean, he is going to create an account in the FB. Internally, we will create an object for him. Now U2 dot name equals to Arjun. U2 dot phone number equals to some phone number. U2 dot email ID equals to okay. Now this is what the values we set, and this is what the values you can read like this. Instead of this, I can directly read here. u1.name, u1.phone number, u1.email ID without storing. Instead of storing into the variable and directly printing the variable, I can directly write u1.name here in the system.println, right? The same way I will do it here. Both are same. User2 name u2.name. The same way, all the properties. User2 phone number u2.phone. User2 email, right? So these are all the values of a user2. I'm directly printing I'm directly reading the values in a printing statement. So both are same. See, user2 name Arjun, phone number is this, email is this. So you can create a number of objects like this. So you will get the difference, right? You got the difference, right, between the class and object. This is a class. You just created that design. You just planned it. What all the fields are required and how it is, what are the types, right? Type of a field you declared, and wherever you are using that class, you can create an object for the class. N number of objects you can create. And each object will contains the storage. Each object will be contains a copy of all the properties. So username, name, phone number, email ID, name, phone number, email ID. You can maintain different values across all the objects. And where all the objects will be stored, there is a memory area heap, HEAP. Heap. So heap is the area which all the objects will be stored there, irrespective of everywhere. So every object it will store inside of a heap only, right? So this is what the difference between these two, class and object. You can create a number of objects for a particular class. Any questions so far?
No questions.
Okay. Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay, that's good. So this is one different concept actually, and the next concept. So this is something else. This is very important actually, static and non-static, and I don't want to confuse. Actually, if I tell today, it will be a big mess for you guys, because always, if you know better understanding of a class and object, then only we can go to the static and non-static. It will be inside of very deep than the class and object, little deep. That we will discuss tomorrow. Okay. So the difference between static fields and non-static fields, and where exactly static will store and where exactly non-static will store, how the copy will be created, will it include the static variables or not, and if it is not, where exactly it will store. Those all concepts will cover tomorrow, right? So it's a kind of a revision. I think I hope everyone gone through the yesterday video. If not gone through, better go through the today class recording also. This is very important. Every class here onwards in the OOPS concept, everywhere, we will directly create an object for we will create a class and we will create an object for a particular classes. Multiple objects we will create, and we will do some kind of we will just explain the particular concept based on the today class only. It will be like today class only, right? So better understand well. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll explain it again. And if you got any doubts in the practice also, let me know.
Sir, we will create any number of classes, sir.
You can create any number of objects. Yes, there is no restriction. You can create any number of objects.
Classes, sir. Classes.
Classes also, sorry, classes also, right? There is no restriction on that part.
Okay. Sir.
The two, you cannot create a multiple classes. I mean, thousands of classes, it will not load. I mean, you will face a performance issues. Depends on the business logic, and a lot of techniques are came actually into the picture.
Sir,
Okay.
we are giving the file name, na, sir, while starting.
Mhm.
File name and inside the file name we are creating the class. Now that file name and class name should be same.
Yes, that's what we discussed in the very first class, isn't it?
Okay, okay, sir.
Whatever is the class name you will give, the same name should be given here. fbsignup.java. This is a file name, and this is a class name. And here also this.
Sir, we will change the class name in the program. It will show error. Showing in
It will
error.
not work actually. It will not work. Basically, in the Eclipse itself, let's say, if you give some other name, Q I have added, see, it is giving some errors.
Okay, okay, sir.
So it will not work because it should be the same name. Then only it will identify the class name by the JVM.
Okay, okay.
So just get the concept by creating a multiple classes and creating a multiple objects for a particular class and store the data and play like that. So you will get some confidence, right? Then it will be easy further classes. Okay. Any other questions, guys?
Sir, why only public is used, sir, in creating class?
Where? Here?
No, sir. In
Here.
FB sign up page. Yeah.
Okay. Here or here? Okay.
At the string name public.
Yeah. Anywhere. If you see that concept is not yet come. If I tell like this, also you will not understand.
Okay.
One second. See here, access modifiers are here. As of now, 4 access modifiers are there. According to your business logic and your restriction, you can put one of it. Public is a maximum visibility you are giving to the field. Let's say private is also there. Let's say if I give private, what will happen? Private means you can able to access this field within the class only. Within this class, you cannot access outside of a class. Come here. It is giving error, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's why if you wanted to restrict your fields based on your requirement, that is also your requirement only, where like within the class or within the package or whole entire project can able to access it or not. So like that, there will be a particular access modifiers are available that yet to come. Once the concept come, you will understand. But as of now, no need to focus on public and all the stuff. Just focus on classes and the objects. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.